Heyo, welcome in, folks. The Bill Mullane Show, episode 28. 28 days later. I know that might be a little confusing since we were off last week. Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's right. I said we were off last week, Thanksgiving. Not just, I decided not to record an episode. It's kind of just basically what happened. Now, as I've always said on here, this whole thing is me just following what I love to do, which is basically babble and bring you some other things. Come on. I was thinking back last week. I almost thought real quick on Black Friday, about releasing a best of the Bill Mullane Show. How egocentric of me, huh? But that came along because I thought, there's so much shit that I've done on here that, most people have probably missed at this point, But I mean, I put together the skits, the music, the storytelling, and then the football podcasting that we do. And so I was like, man, I've been at this for a little while now, 8 months. And, it's time to spend a little bit of time maybe trying to find someone who understands promotion. And speaking of which, though, that kind of brings up the theme for this week, which is just like, as you should know by now, unless you're just joining me for the first time, I kind of go through what I've been doing and what's relevant in my life this week, and then this is just journaling about it. Sometimes I grace you with an original track, an original song. There might be one this week. I don't know. It's still kind of early. So you might have that to look forward to. But essentially, that's what it is. And this week, my life's taken some turns over the last solid year and a half, but specifically over 2024. And I'll jump back a little bit, kind of give some people some context in case you don't know me, or if maybe I haven't even spoken much about it on here. I think I did the first couple of episodes. I was really ironing out some of the awkwardness, that you've come to find endearing. Hopefully. I may have spoke about in 2023, I was laid off of a job that I held for a while. I was with the company for 6 years. I was a senior editor with them for about 3, and the company had these terrible business practices, right? They were, essentially, I'm not proud to admit it. I used to have to lie to myself, I'll tell you. The company basically would do accident news, so it was like working for personal injury firms. And this was basically online ambulance chasing. Had people call us worse than Saul Goodman. I commented back once. I said, he found himself sort of in the end, a little bit. Like, he didn't kill the old lady. So sorry if that's a spoiler alert, but Carol Burnett, right? That's who played her? Yeah. Anyway, point is, the job wasn't the most moral, because it was essentially online ambulance chasing. Like I said, you just report on accidents, and then you're selling them in the media to draw the devastated family members and victims to a specific law firm that you just kind of mention at the end of the piece. So anyway, though, as a senior editor, I'll be open here. I was making around $70,000, something like that, a year. It fluctuated a little bit because I also did some writing for the company, so it was a little more sometimes, a little less maybe. But either way, when that company went under because of what it was doing, and then when AI got involved with them, they started selling their content overseas and trying to pay freelance writers like $3 for 500-word articles. Like, just if you know anything about freelance writing rates, it's just disgusting. It's like, dude. But if you're using AI to write the whole thing, I guess, and these people managing that company didn't really realize what AI does and the stages of development it's in, and it's not good for live news. But anyway, they decided to make do and have foreigners just write a couple of sentences and have AI kind of do the rest or whatever. And they essentially couldn't afford to pay several salaries. They dropped writers, and I was one of 2 editors that was let go. So I went down to, $25,000 now within a month. I landed a couple small writing clients, but that was about it. And so working with that, I initially defined that in my life as like this loss, as like, oh shit, what am I gonna do here? Here I've been probably not the most responsible with my taxes, giving my daughter lots of big birthday parties and shit. Anyway, though, I ended up in debt, a lot of debt, man, thousands of dollars. Had to consolidate credit. I basically had $70,000 and a 700 something credit score, and in like a matter of a year, that's all drastically changed. So anyway, though, this isn't a pity party or nothing. The point is, I started after a while, though. Like I said, the changes have really been over this last year, and I'm in such a better place than I was with that company, and things moving forward in such unexpected ways that I feel like sharing some of that, and why not? Because I'm talking ultimately about making money, right? Which has this ooh around it, right? Well, that also is what people want to hear about too. Because there's a lot of people broke or feeling that way on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this, which, by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. You're going to want these tips, trust me. But by listening, you're going to get not only the tips on how to make tons of money in your life, but everything else. Welcoming all forms of abundance and that you're already attracting. And now that might go right away into, oh yeah, I've heard this get-rich spiel before. Believe in it. The law of attraction and different things. Which there are truth to. There's truth, but like the law of attraction is a little misunderstood, I think. Because the idea of the law of attraction is that you focus on something, you give your energy over to it, you allow it, and it's you're attracted to it. Like vibration attracts like vibration. So, but it's a little more than that, really. It's more, there's more knowingness, more knowing that you're always abundant in all things. And the best way to know that is to know by so powerfully is to just kind of look at and know that, like, if you don't have something right now, or it feels like that, then you're abundant in the lack of it. Right? I think if you just kind of redefine it that way, then you can at least see in your life what you're abundant in, and then you can start defining that. You can start going, okay, well, I'm abundant in lack. So what must I believe in order to be filtering my abundance and experiencing it in this form? Because maybe I prefer a different form, such as millions of dollars, which we'll get into. I'm here to teach how to be a millionaire, people. That's my goal in life. What are you talking about? What do you mean? You're going to sit over there and you're going to think, Bill, you don't know this now? You're all about the cash flow, baby, big time money? That's what you're about now on this show? Big dollar bill, yo? Yeah, you're damn right. That's me. I don't know. Maybe for this episode it is. But listen, that's because I can help if you are struggling in some way. And I'll tell you, it all absolutely starts with your definitions. And one major one, though, I think, even before you worry about how you're defining your relationship with money, it's more defining your relationship with deservability and what you earn and how you earn things. So to be real basic about this, and I'm not going to just harp and turn this into a whole self-help thing for which I am scantily qualified. It's a helpful focal point, and like I'm saying, the last year, let me be upfront and honest. So part of the recovery, so you have a little bit of a basis of like some hope listening to me. You can go, oh, okay, so this guy maybe knows what he's talking about. Because I'm a person who comes from not extreme wealth. My family was very working poor class and all that, and I started working on farms and all this stuff when I was young and did a lot of labor for a long time. And I bought into the belief for a long time. I didn't finish high school. I went straight to labor-intensive work before I eventually, went into college later on. But even during college, I was still doing stone construction and masonry things, running my own jobs, doing that. And really until this last year, I've still always had this belief of toiling, even working as an editor. When I did finally move out of the labor-intensive fields. I was still working my ass off as a senior editor. Plus, I was doing writing. I worked basically 12 hours a day, like just about 6 days a week for, several years. So I was still laboring. And now my work life and personal life are far more balanced. That's why I'm able to come here and do a podcast. I mean, 2 years ago, I never would have had the time for this. I tried podcasting in 2016. I was a single father of a 2-year-old at the time and doing Stone and bop. There was no time to come here and rap to you people, let alone start telling horror stories and talking about football and shit. Are you kidding me? That was looked at like, what? Yeah, real nice thing there, Bill. Where's the money? Come on, man. What are you doing? You can't just laze around talking about shit that maybe some people want to hear about on a whim. So I wouldn't have had time to do any of this. And now sit here and talk to you about dating, about trying to find a woman. And that's just part of the reason why I was able to go several years without any intimacy, is because I was just working constantly. That's what I would do. But what the thing is the amount that I worked, and throughout my whole life. I mean, I've been working. When I was doing stonework, I worked, mass overtime every time I could, mandatory Saturdays, that's all I've ever done. It feels like. Started paper routes when I was 12. You know what I mean? So it's just been work. Yet, every day I need to work more. Every week I need more money. Like, what? Like it was so lopsided for so long. So much work for so, mediocre. Just like, yeah. I mean, the work cycle is such a bullshit circle of yeah, what have you done for me lately? I remember feeling one time I was putting together a natural stone retaining wall, like an 18-inch wide, 3 foot or 2 foot high, whatever. It was a bigger, good size. I think it was a sitting wall, and I was like mortaring in the capstones and stuff, and that's kind of fun. It's always fun playing around like that. I think I've mentioned that I enjoy that type of shit when I can get my brain involved intricately. I enjoy it. And I'm not good at constant just sweep the floor. That would always sit like, oh God. Anyway, but I remember doing one and it was beautiful. And one of the jobs I did, I think it was this job. It was massive. It wasn't just me, but I ran sections of it. It was a big job, and I ran the one of the lower level patios and stairways down to it, and the sitting walls and stuff. And the later on for the landscape awards that they do, I don't know if they do those everywhere, but they do them in New York State, upstate New York, Western New York, and that job won first place. And I remember you walk into the shop and there's a picture that's a perfect angle down on some of the upper patio too that I didn't do, but it's like one of the focal points of the photo of like first place award winners. This whole section job that I ran and built, and I remember seeing it and thinking like. And this isn't to brag or any shit, okay? I remember seeing it and thinking, how am I not just like rich for the rest of my life? Like the amount of work that went into that and the way it came out, like, and it's just like, no, I did that whole thing to buy bread and milk and eggs and pay my rent and keep the lights on, like that's the only reason I did any of it. And that's all I got out of any of it. And how lopsided is that? It's fucked up. You know how many people I worked with and that personally that need knee replacements and back surgeries and all that shit? And yet, for what? Maybe they got a decent retirement. Yeah, you'll get a couple years at the end there with your metal kneecaps. And, So, it's very lopsided. But at this time too, and during all that, and up until more recently, I suppose, it's because I had a definition of the employer-employee relationship in which I was taught to believe all my life that the employer has all the money, okay, and they know what they're doing. They got all the money, and then you trade your time and all of your work and your intelligence and everything you got, peasant, and you trade it for the money that the employer's got. And that's the relationship. But I've redefined it, and I'll tell you that it's life-changing when you begin to view the employer-employee thing as now this is tough because I have been in the freelance sort of field for a decade now. So you can listen to this and go, oh, well, how do I apply this to my life? I haven't been freelancing. But because this is about being your own boss type of thing. But even if you're not in a situation where you're doing that, which, it's taken me many years to do that and be in that place and go, okay, yeah, I am my own boss. But it's a weird thing to say, but you can do that even when you have a quote-unquote boss, right? Because what it is you're redefining the relationship from your employer is just the person who has the symbol and shares it. They're the one sharing the symbol of abundance. It's just one, money. Money is one of the forms of abundance in our culture. It's not the only one. There's plenty of forms of abundance. As I've said, you're always abundant in something. It's knowing that the employer, they're the ones sharing that form of abundance, that symbol, and the employee is the one sharing their time in exchange. Now, this doesn't sound profound at the moment, right? But you apply that can apply to absolutely everything you do in your life. You're paying the internet bill. The internet provider is the employee. You're the employer. So what it does is it changes the view of, oh, if I don't hurry up and pay my internet bill, they're going to shut it off, giving them the power. It puts the power in your hands as, well, if I decide I don't want this anymore, then I won't exchange and I'll end this relationship. I won't give over, I won't share any of the abundance I have with you, this symbol with this company, my employee anymore. I don't need your services anymore. You're firing the internet company instead of not being able to afford your bill and losing service. This is a odd example because then you can go, oh, but I want it. Well, now this comes to a detachment thing and attachment. And are you attaching yourself to the things that are most representative and aligned with who you truly are, your core nature as a being? But it's a place to start. You start redefining relationships like that, and you begin to see drastic changes because everything is reflective of your definitions and your experience. That's what you're attracting to you. You're getting symbols of your definitions, of your beliefs. And it's very obvious and apparent in everything. And now that's where I'm going to end on talking about that, but I'm going to continue it with because one of the things I was talking to my friends and brother there and stuff about another thing that's relevant in my life here I'm working with now. I've crossed over. That's how I ended up working with AI, because I was kind of like, am I going to keep running around looking for writing gigs when all these things are going? But the company I was with for so long, was down because of AI. Is AI the villain? I assigned that definition to it, that meaning, the villainous role to it in 2023 when I first lost the job, because it was, you took it from me, But then I said, well, nah, let's just roll here. Let's flow. And what can I do with AI? And now I've been working with AI for the last, 10 months or so. And now I'm moving into a position where I've got the opportunity to move into a position that's much more lucrative too, is marketing specialist and stuff. So these are, but again, I'm not losing or sacrificing any of the freedom that I've gained. So it's not like I'm going to, I'm doing more marketing now. I'm going to lean a little into that, which I figure can help me with the podcast too. But I'm going to stop doing the show. No more. Sorry, it's been fun, guys. But, no. There's always time. I make the time because I am my boss. But this, again, is not a bragging, like, look at me, look what I'm doing, guys. Hey, Bill's got it made. Yeah. No, you've been listening to the show. I ain't got it made. All right? But the difference is an experience, and it's time-wise, I am abundant in time. I get to enjoy my life a lot more than I have over the last decade, which is, all my enjoyment over the last decade has been just raising my kid. And even at those, there were many times where I had to kind of ignore her or tell her, a lot of times I used to have to tell her sitting in my office, you have to pretend like daddy's not here, because she would run into the office and and want to yell and talk about something, and my mind's going in 3 different places on stuff I'm writing or editing and working on. Like, ugh. So anyway, but the way I've moved over into this and that freedom, now I can still do this show, but now I can still work with AI and getting into other things, and I've got a more valuable time. So working with AI, I didn't mean to go back into that. I was supposed to be ending that. If you can figure out a way to, while you're listening, to maybe slap me in the face, you can comment. And if people would jump in comments and be like, hey, Bill, can you do me a favor? I really, dig in the show, try and be nice. I'm digging the show, but can you do me a favor and try and stay on a point and stop bouncing all over the place? Or conversely, hop in there and go, Bill, I fucking, the show's much better when you're just scatterbrained all over the place. Can you give me more of that? Give me more bouncing around, because then I'll be, whew, all right, I'm not wasting people's time here. People want to hear me bounce around. I'm doing good. People want to hear someone, sounds like a ADD, crack addiction. I don't know. But coming from a sober mind, that's, and I'm undiagnosed. Anyway, where was I? AI. I was doing a project with it, and I picking different categories to play around with. I'm like, what should I do today? And I kind of was like, something came across. I listen to a lot of, if you can't tell, I listen to a lot of self-help and metaphysical content. So I started getting into Buddhism. So I started doing a little project on Buddhism with AI, blah, blah, blah. And I came across 2 observations I want to make on the show here real quick, and then maybe I'll save some room for a song or something to kick you out of here. Hopefully this has been fun. Maybe I'll go back and I'll listen to this and I'll squeeze some other things in. I don't know. Kind of feel like I've been going on a while, and it's just some lessons that nobody wants that I've done here. Maybe I'll name this episode The Lesson You Never Wanted. So anyway, I'm working with AI. I'm doing, we're talking Buddhism. And I hate saying that word. I feel like my Western New York accent. The Buddhism, or Polish or something. Buddhism. So, talking that religion, faith. And I noticed 2 things. One, dukkha, or however you pronounce it, which means suffering. The root of the word do, or the prefix do, is means bad or difficult, and the root word ka means whole or empty. And I guess it was originally used to describe the a bad axle hole on the chariot. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Now I do. And I've never really thought before about how crude those chariots must have been way back then. You always see these elegant, depictions, elegant drawings or whatnot, paintings and stuff. The chariot. Yeah, right. Chariots didn't have suspension. Riding around on the bumpy-ass, dry desert floor, unpaved. Those people had to be rattled all over the place. And then I think of, these cultures where, the women you often see with the long gold, necklace thing, holding their neck straight up in the air, and you're always like, yeah, they teach that's the religious significance we found, They always tie it together and correlate it with all this religious and metaphysical, philosophical, deep understandings and practices, and it's for this purpose. No, it's a neck brace because they're bopping around on that fucking chariot, and they got vertebrae all rattled loose. So that's one observation I made. And the other, connected to it as well, going into it, looking at Nirvana, and Nirvana being the path. And this isn't the last one. People, don't take that seriously. The shit I just said about chariots and poor axles on them, bouncing around and all that. I guess that's funny, my opinion. This is profound because Nirvana, the word, we know this, the word is, and they say enlightenment or attaining enlightenment. It actually means the path toward the end of suffering. It's freedom from pain and suffering. And then the band Nirvana, Kurt Cobain never knew why he named the band that. And he rattled off the Webster Dictionary definition, but that, he doesn't know. And then an interviewer asked him, gave his own like interpretation of what it can mean by using punk music or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good. I like it. Punk is the end of pain or something, whatever. So he had no reason to name the band Nirvana, right? And Nirvana, the band, had absolutely no business being as enormously successful as they were. I mean, you can give me that bullshit. It was the time and the generation and the right place. Yeah, all those factors just happened to line up for that one skinny blonde dude. You're telling me there were nowhere else in the world there were not tons of just skinny, drugged out dudes smacking a guitar around and singing? Now, don't let me discredit Cobain. He actually was a better guitar player than he gets credit for. He was a very good songwriter. His voice was, raw and not great all the time, but a very, better singer than me. He's a good vocalist. So like, yeah, but they were good. They were a very good band. They had good, catchy songs, But there's people in the world who were not alive when they were a band, or are just very old or whatever, and don't even listen to music. Still, they know the name of the band. They still know Nirvana because they're that enormously huge. So it's like, to me, it's like, why? And think about how it is such a blatant sign of in-your-face fact that follow your bliss, the path, because the achievement of Nirvana, achieving Nirvana, I believe, is just achieving an understanding that you are the path, that it's not about being on a path. You literally are the path, So it's about opening up and understanding that. And in our culture, in our society here, we have one enormous example of somebody doing that. 3 people doing it that are all, I guess you can make the argument that Dave Grohl is pretty damn special after his long-ass career into acting and, and he sings and plays. I mean, geez. Yeah, he's a pretty talented guy. Guess there was going to be no stopping him. But, this isn't to discount Chris Novoselic. I'm sorry. I know he's listening right now, and he's like, you motherfucker even going to mention me? So, anyway, the band didn't have that much business being so enormously successful, but they were, because that name, that's the perfect picture. And I'm talking philosophically here. I'm talking spiritually here. So you might be going, whoa, where are you going with this, man? And it's the understanding that on a spiritual level, came out as an example in our society. It's a direct symbol from the universe telling you, hey, this is the truth. Be the path. Look at this guy. He's fucked up on dope. He's singing about laxatives. And he's smashing the shit out of his instrument on stage. And he is beyond supported over here. And look at him. You want to be him. Well, that doesn't go for everybody. Maybe that was just me. It wasn't just me. It was millions of kids. So I find that profound. Really think about it. That, he doesn't even know why he named the band that, because he had to. There was no choice. It was cosmic and kismet. It needed to be. So if you're ever down on yourself, go and look at Nirvana. And no, you can do it too. And you know what? Maybe I'll just drop in my song Sad Head here, which was always my kind of a grungy tune. I haven't played that in a long time. And it's gonna be a little longer, because I stopped the recording there. I went and I started jamming around on it a little bit. I can't remember the second verse. I haven't played it in so long. I'm like, nah, fuck, man. I'm not going to end the show just like destroying your eardrums or like messing with you, killing you on that. So, this one has just been a nice long talk for you. Teaching you how to make some money in your life, man, you broke bastard. Listen, that's all you need to know, okay? That's everything you really need to know. Start redefining your relationships to money, to your employer, employee, all these things to give yourself the power. Just see it that way. I know it feels sometimes like you're faking it till you make it type of thing, but trust me, I can tell you from real life experiences and examples that, no, I'm not sitting in a lap of luxury right now. Not yet, I guess. I haven't realized that. Maybe it's not relevant for me. I don't know. I don't focus on that, on what exactly it is or how much it is. But I tell you, I'm infinitely supported. And I keep getting hit with surprise after surprise of like, yeah, you're doing what you love to do. So here you go, man. And that's why I'm doing this show. So whether you listen to it or not, I'm just going to keep doing it. Because if you're following that thread of excitement, if you're understanding that you deserve, because it starts with deservability, as I started at the beginning of the show saying, start with that. Know that you are supported. Know that you deserve it. Redefine your relationship to money. Redefine your relationship with the employer-employee idea. Not necessarily in your work setting, just in everything, in general. Everything is a fair exchange, is essentially what I'm saying there. And, yeah. Hey, man, this one was just kind of rambling and talking and babbling. But this is journaling, people. That's what it is. That's what it's been. That's what it's become. And I will get you that sad head tune. I will get that out there for you once I play around with it. As long as I'm excited to do so. Maybe I'll just leave you on the edge of your seat, and you'll never know. There's like 3 people in the world who've heard it. Maybe more than that. I used to play it years ago. But anyway, you probably don't remember it. If you are someone listening who has heard it, you're probably like, oh, it's probably just some shit he played around a fire one time or something, you know. But anyway, man, listen, go ahead and like this video or wherever you're listening to it, Spotify, whatever, YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, people. And I'm gonna give you some more concrete examples as I go further here, and maybe turn this into some sort of self-help type deal, as long as that feels right. And I tell you, you're not going to want to miss the examples. You're not going to want to miss the information that's going to help you secure a more stable, well-balanced work-love, personal life balance. You need that, people. Otherwise, what are you doing on this planet? Running around making money and just enough to buy the milk? Come on, man. You can do better than that. So subscribe to the podcast. Learn how to do better than that. I'm going to teach you as we go along here. We're going to learn together, though. It's really more what it is. You're on a ride with a guru who's learning with you. That's right. Bill just called himself a guru. Maybe I've gone psychotic, man. I don't know. But I'm having fun. And this was all right. This was fun. I know we were off. I was off last week. And I'll be bringing you one next week. This one's actually a day late. It's Saturday. I'm wrapping it up here. But this will be ready soon. And the DFL podcast is transforming to video. So you're going to want to, if you like hearing not just me, but a couple others, Tommy and Chuck joining me on the DFL podcast. We did the first video episode on Thursday last week. It came out okay. It's a quick, short one. It was, it's an animal that's just being birthed. But, yeah, it's going to be fun to follow. Follow that. If you like football, especially if you like the Bills, then you really can't miss it. And it's different, it's just people talking with their gut, superstition gets involved. It's fun. It's good. It's welcoming. Come in, sit down, listen. It's like you're gathered with your friends, just shooting the shit, talking ball. So that's fun. And then the Brothers McCarb, I know that's something that maybe some people are wondering about, because we had all of October and it was a fun run. And there hasn't been a story released since then. It was supposed to really kick up in November, weekly. It's been a little more time consuming putting that together alongside the other 2 pods that I'm doing here, so I really need more help from my brother. But he's like a fucking deadbeat, this guy. He keeps coming up with these fucking excuses. He's like, oh yeah, my voice doesn't sound just right. I might have to go hide in the closet to record. And like, he's giving me all this shit. Well, he's got to work around his job, and if he's not excited to do it, well, then I'm not going to make him do it. But I know he's a great horror lover and a great writer and a fun guy to have on the show as well. So whether or not he joins, maybe the name will change and it'll just be me. I don't know. But there are still stories in progress. You do have that to look forward to, and I will keep you posted on all of that progress. Hey, listen, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for listening to this one. It's about money, I guess. Most of this was about money, right? Why? Money sells. There you go. There's the title. All right, people. I love you. And I'll probably see you next week.
DFL, bitch.